Hi, I'm Jamie Andreessen, a work at home mom passionate about helping entrepreneurs like you build a thriving laser business. Whether you're just starting out, looking to grow, or ready to scale your business, this podcast is for you. We'll dive deep into the world of lasers and other machine crafting equipment, cover topics like business strategies, mindset shifts, customer experience, and creative inspiration. I'll share my own experience navigating business with young kids, building a successful shop. Get ready to learn, grow, and have some fun. Welcome to Party with a Laser. Hello, and welcome to episode number 12 of Party with a Laser. I'm so glad you're here. You know that feeling when you can't find the file you just made, or you're hunting for scissors for the 5th time today? Yeah, same. Today, we're diving into how I stay organized in both my digital world and physical laser workspace so that everything flows, and honestly, so I don't lose my mind during the busy season. Today, we're going to cover decluttering, setting up your workspace that works for you, creating systems for your digital files, and making sure your space feels just right. Okay, first things first is we need to declutter and let go. All of that stuff that you bought that you have not touched in over 2 years, it's time to let it go. I know. You bought a whole bunch of stuff because you wanted to get into something and you haven't touched it. You haven't even opened the box that it came in. It's time to let it go. There have been so many things I thought I wanted to get into, from resin making to beads, that I bought everything and never even opened the box, or I might have done it once or twice. It's time to let all of that go. By going through everything first and getting rid of it, it's going to help you be able to have more space to organize. One of the things that I really like to do is I like to take everything out of the shelf or the storage cabinet, and I'll go through it and I'll do this one by one and just see what I have to start with. Whenever I can see it in a pile in the middle of the room, it makes it really easy to pick back just the things I want. And I'll do this by one shelf, one drawer, one area at a time. And then I'll go back and just go through and pick back what I have and take inventory of what I have. If you find yourself with a bunch of craft supplies like tumblers that you need to declutter, there are a lot of different Facebook decluttering groups that you can use to sell some of your extras that you're no longer using. The destash groups on Facebook are a great way to get rid of unused craft blank supplies that other people might want to try. Next is to go through all of that scrap laser supplies that you have. You know, the scrap acrylic and the scrap wood. All of those pieces that you've been saving because you can get something small out of. These are great things to make with like keychains, small ornaments, earrings if you make them. But it's time to go through these and get rid of them all. Utilize what you can and throw the rest of them away or burn them. They are not worth holding on for years and years at a time. I always like to go through about every 3 to 4 months and go through my pile and just make small objects and get rid of the rest. Another thing that I have seen people do is if they have a large sheet left or a large portion of a sheet left over, they will cut squares out of it as they go. And that way they just have small squares to deal with and store versus all of the large sheets that have holes cut out of them. All right, so once you've decluttered and cleared some of the physical space, it's time to actually set up in a way that makes sense. Not just Pinterest pretty, but super functional. One of the best things I ever did was divided my workspace into zones. Even in small spaces, having a flow to how you work is huge. In my shop, I have a laser zone, a UV printing zone, a painting and finishing area, a packing zone, and every task has a place and everything I need is within reach. Examples include is whenever I'm painting, I don't want to have to dig around for a sanding block. It's all right there in that zone. Same thing with shipping. I have everything from my tape to extra scissors, all of my bubble mailers, and boxes are all in one spot, along with my roller printer. So all I have to do is package in one area. Next is to make sure you're maximizing your small space by going vertical. If you got a small workshop, going up instead of out, what's going to be your best friend? When I first got started, we were living in an apartment and my entire laser work zone that I had was 8 square feet. It was a 2-foot by 4-foot area and I had to maximize every single bit of space. We had the Glowforge on the table and I was able to utilize the work area directly below it, and everything was stored above it. It was completely maxed out, but going vertical was my best friend and the easiest and only way that we were able to make it work. Okay, the next tip I have is to make sure you have the tools in the space that you need them. For example, I have scissors everywhere. I have scissors in my production area, I have scissors in my shipping area. But by having the scissors and the tools that I need where I need them, even if they are duplicated, makes my production way more efficient and helps me stay organized where I'm not having to sort for the scissors. I always know that I have a pair where I need them. I am a huge fan of pegboards. I have multiple pegboards in my house that everything has a designated spot on the pegboard where I can easily just go and pit back the tape, the scissors, the paint, where it goes at on the pegboard. And that way it's really easy to see like, okay, what's missing? What do I need to go find? And everything has a spot where it goes back to. The next tip is if you have the space, try to design a production line. Try to have it where you can go from one station to the next station in your zones and keep your production flow flowing in the correct way. That way you're not having to run up and down stairs as you go. It will help with the efficiency. The last thing is to keep your space clean. Listen, I'm not saying you need to have a spotless workshop at all times, but having a basic cleanup habit is everything. I do a quick 5 to 10 minutes tidy up several times a day, throwing away trash and putting things back to where they are supposed to go. Okay, next we're going to move on to digital file organization. A couple of tips I use is to make sure that I use clear file names because I have been the one that has lost a file because I named it something random. Or one of the other things I'm really guilty of is having my original file and then I create something new in that file because I get an idea, forgetting that I already created it. And then I do not update the name or sort it to its own file system. So now what I've been really good at doing is making sure every object is in its own file and that it has a name that matches what's inside of it with a SKU number. Next is to set up folder structures. So set up your folders in a structure that makes sense to you. That way, if you are having to go back and look through it, you know what exactly it is. If you've bought a file, make sure you have it saved in a way that makes sense. And then speaking of saving, make sure that you're backing up and using either a cloud syncing method or a physical external hard drive. Just make sure that you're backing up your files. And very last organization tip is have an inventory spreadsheet. Have something that you are keeping track of what you have on hand. I have just a simple Excel spreadsheet that I have my SKUs on, a description, keyword, and how many I have in stock. I am currently not the best at keeping track of how many I have in stock on the spreadsheet, but I do have it so that I know what I've made in the past as well. And I do update it when I get a chance. That is it for this week's organization tips. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Party with a Laser. If you're looking for more resources, head on over to partywithalaser.com where you'll find show notes, all the links from today's episode, the blog, and so much more. If this episode was helpful for you, awesome. The greatest compliment I could receive from you is a rate, review, and subscribe on the podcast. Not only will this allow us to connect again on future episodes, it lets me know that I'm providing you with value, information, and helps other people find this content more easily. I'm truly appreciative of your support. Have a great day and see you next time.
BN. Have a great day. Bye-bye.